and welcome to your next episode of the East Kentucky Works podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jennifer Breeze.
Hey guys, and I'm Jaeclinn Kaiser.
Yes, and we are so pumped for today's show because we have an incredible guest. This episode is going to be great for anybody that is a job seeker or an employer because our guest today has been on both sides of that fence. And so he's a very successful job-seeking client once upon a time, and now he's, an outstanding partner with us and helps the community so much as an employer on the employer side of the fence. And so please welcome our guest, Dylon Baker. He is the Assistant Vice President of Workforce Initiatives at Appalachian Regional Healthcare, otherwise known as ARH. And so welcome, Dylon.
Excellent. Thank you, Jennifer and Jaeclinn. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to hop on and chat about all the great things happening at ARH and our partnership with EKCEP.
Cool. So let's talk about your personal journey, like going way back to the beginning. Can you start by just telling our listeners a little bit about your personal journey? What was the situation like when you first connected with our Kentucky Career Centers?
Yeah. So, I think back and nearly 7 years ago, I was approaching my final semester of my senior year in high school, and I was terrified because I had no clue what I wanted to do after that. I knew I was graduating in June, but no clue what my next step was. And then to look where I'm at today, it truly has been a remarkable experience. But I recall, that summer that I graduated high school, as I mentioned, really not sure exactly what my next step was when it came down to my career. I knew I was going to continue on to college, didn't know what type of degree I was going to pursue, but I was going to continue on to college. And, during that point, I was really just looking for an opportunity to gain some work experience, really to see what was out there. Honestly, when I approached the services through EKCEP, it was really, my mindset at that point was, this will be a great way just to make a little bit of money this summer. Then once the internship is over, I'll go on and maybe I'll work at a bank, maybe I'll work as a teller, something along those lines. But this will be a great way to get some exposure into a new industry and just make a little bit of money this summer. And that really was the start to this incredible journey that has led me to where I'm at today.
That's so cool. Yeah. So you talked about, coming to the WIOA program. Can you give us a little bit of some of the challenges you were facing at that time, and how did the WIOA program help you with those?
Yeah. The biggest one, Jaeclinn, was the really such a lack of awareness about what opportunities existed when it came to career options for me in particular. I think one of the biggest misconceptions, and this is something that I believed all throughout high school, is that I knew I wanted to be successful. I knew that I wanted to do something great, but I had such a fear that that wasn't going to be possible staying here in Hazard, Kentucky. And I knew I wanted to stay home, but I was anticipating for that day that I was going to have to leave Eastern Kentucky, move to a larger city if I wanted to be successful. And so that was really my entire fear my senior year is I'm excited to graduate, but I'm going to have to leave home. And really, when I came in contact with individuals that were associated with the EKCEP at the time, the key thing was really them helping to go against that stigma and that misconception. And they really helped me evaluate what opportunities did exist. And I remember when they mentioned ARH, I was like, oh no, I'm not interested in patient care. I can't do blood. That's not for me. Right? Because so many people think ARH, healthcare system, nurse, doctor, patient care. And that's what I believed too at that point in time. And so they really helped me explore opportunities that did exist. And when we started having those conversations, asking me questions about what was I interested in, right? I had an interest in business and connecting with people, and they paired me with this opportunity at ARH, and I had no clue that that existed. But the individuals that I worked with through these community action agencies, they knew about these opportunities and they helped connect me to those opportunities. And so that was really a critical piece, is that career exploration, increasing awareness, and really giving me the comfort to know there are opportunities that align with my goals and desires here in the region. And hey, maybe I don't have to leave home to be successful.
That's so amazing. And I love that piece because I think that's still a very common thing, is that people feel like if I'm going to be successful, I'm probably going to have to leave Eastern Kentucky. And we are trying to combat that misconception, because I really think there are ample opportunities to be very, very successful here at home. So I'm glad that you shared that piece of it. So is there any particular service or person or moment within your WIOA experience that was like really pivotal for you?
Yeah, I think the key service was the work experience component. Right here, I was 17 at the time when we were exploring these opportunities, freshly turned 18 when I was finally able to enroll in these services. But at that point, I had had no real work experience, right? And so that was one of the key things is this program gave me the opportunity to get exposure into the business side of healthcare. It allowed me to gain some of those critical skills, right? I had never really done formal presentations or, screened applicants for jobs. And so I gained all these skills when it came to communication, engagement, presentations. And so that work experience component was so, so critical in really allowing me to build the skills that I did over the course of that 480 hours that ultimately led to me being able to stay with the organization once that internship and that work experience opportunity was over.
Yeah, I think that's something that we've been talking about a lot with our students through our Prosper Appalachia program is really the work experiences and the internships and how much they truly play a part in helping you to be able to stay in Eastern Kentucky and find what you want, because there are jobs here for people to stay and not have to go so far away. So I think that's great. Now looking back, how did being a client shape your perspective on workforce development and career opportunities?
I think that being a client of these services, and then now looking at where I'm at today, I've been incredibly, incredibly blessed over the course of the last 6.5 years from when I first began my work experience. And I think the reason that I'm so invested in this type of work and the partnership with the EKCEP is because I know the power of getting individuals enrolled into these programs, into these services, and into these opportunities. Right. Looking back at my situation, and that's like we have so many students right now, seniors who are about to graduate in our region who were in that same exact position that I was in 7 years ago, thinking, oh gosh, I don't know what I want to do. I graduate next month. I got to get my life together. And so many students don't know about the opportunities that exist. And so, I know the power of opportunity. I know the power and the resources that, the community action agencies, EKCEP can bring forth to the youth in the region. And I think it's so, so, so important that we're getting more youth involved in these programs, getting them more work experiences, internships, those type of opportunities. Because without those type of services and without those resources, I would not be where I'm at today.
Yeah, and we are so pumped about the things that are going on for our youth right now with the Prosper Appalachia program. And so you've already kind of started heading that way. Tell us a little bit about that current role that you're in, the Assistant Vice President of Workforce Initiatives. What does that mean? What do you do?
Yes. So in my role, I have the privilege of overseeing the workforce operations and several key functions of the HR processes for our entire healthcare system. So at ARH, we are the region's largest employer, really the driver of workforce and economic development in the region. And I had the privilege of serving as the youngest executive in the history of the region's largest health system. And so in my role, I oversee several key areas, those being directly connected to recruitment, retention, workforce development, and then workforce advancement. So in a nutshell, it is my responsibility and the responsibility of my division and my team to ensure that our organization, that we have a strong, stable workforce, not only to deliver the care that we're providing today, but looking ahead 3, 5, 10 years down the road, how do we make sure that ARH has a strong, stable workforce? And that's our purpose, and we do those things through partnerships, investing in the youth, investing in students, making sure that we have a strong talent pipeline. And I have the privilege of overseeing all those fun things. And it truly is a fun job. And I'm incredibly, incredibly blessed to be a part of helping to lead the organization in those efforts.
That is so cool. I'm trying not to just like audibly clap and
Yeah, I
hoot and
really
holler, because go you. That is so amazing. And I love that it sounds like you're really happy and enthusiastic about what you do. And there's nothing better than that when you love your job, right?
Absolutely. One of the greatest things about the work that we do is it's all about helping people. right? And it's all about developing the partnerships like we have with EKCEP. And I know the work at EKCEP, it's all about helping people. And so honestly, I love the work that we do. And the reason that I love it is because we are helping to change and transform the lives of hundreds and thousands of people across Eastern Kentucky and Southern West Virginia. And I truly don't believe that there's anything more rewarding than being able to help others.
Yeah, and you talked about the partnership between ARH and EKCEP. Can you tell us a little bit about the most recent programs ARH and EKCEP and the Kentucky Career Centers has created for, internships, apprenticeships, and work experience? And, who are these programs truly designed for? And are there any openings, or are they all filled right now?
Yeah, so we partner with EKCEP in several different programs and several different new developments over the course of the last couple of months. Some of those connected to apprenticeships, which I'm very excited for. I think that we're going to be growing our work with apprenticeships through our partnership. But some of the most recent ones have been designed to help the organization in the region combat against the nursing shortages that we continue to face. So two of those in particular is one is providing work experiences for nursing students within our region. So what EKCEP is doing is they've set forth a certain number of slots that they're going to fund for work experiences for nursing students in the region to be able to come into the ARH facilities to get work experience, to apply some of the skills that they're learning in the classroom on the floor. So they're getting hands-on experience throughout the course of this 480 hours. But the greatest thing through that partnership is through that nurse extern concept is we're providing flexible employment to these students. Employment is key to the success of not just nursing students, but students in general, right? When it comes to clinicals and managing coursework, having flexible employment is so critical. So what this partnership is going to allow our organization to do is to expand the number of nursing students that we are able to hire into our organization, expanding flexible employment opportunities and contributing to the overall success of the students in our region. So that's one of the very exciting things is EKCEP's investment in providing work experiences to help ensure that students who are starting their nursing programs are able to complete those nursing programs because they have flexible employment. The second program that we've recently developed with EKCEP is one that's really designed to help assist employers offset some of the costs associated with on-the-job training. So as an organization, we hire a little over 1,500 employees annually. And so there's a lot of time investment that goes in, a lot of time and financial investment that goes into training these individuals and really making sure that they are prepared for the job that we're going to be placing them in. So what we've recently done with EKCEP is developed a partnership to where EKCEP will assist with a certain portion of the wages for those individuals that we are going to be onboarding and training. When we look at certain positions, such as staff nurses sometimes are in training anywhere between 3, 6, 9, 12 months, depending upon their specialty. So it's a very extended period of training that goes into new graduate nurses in particular. And with that comes an increased cost for employers like ourselves because we were having to pair them with an experienced staff nurse, right? And it's sometimes in those training, it's two people doing the work of one for that training period. And so this is going to be extremely, extremely beneficial and helpful to us as employers with helping offset some of that cost associated with on-the-job training for these new hires.
And at the scale that you guys are doing this, from what I understand, from our business services consultant, like the MOU is going to save ARH probably around $100,000. Is somewhere in that neighborhood, I think, is what she said.
With OJTs, yes. I think when you put together all the different partnerships, I think the investment by EKCEP is truly remarkable and incredible. Not just with our organization, but for the students in the region. And looking at through some of the partnerships that we've mentioned, several hundreds of thousands of dollars are going to be invested in really helping to ensure that students in the region connected with ARH and those not connected with ARH are able to access work experiences and OJT opportunities. So we are incredibly blessed and humbled and appreciative for the investment being made by EKCEP in the programs that are going to help our organization build a strong, stable workforce.
Yeah, that is, to me, that's incredible. I'm sitting here thinking about the impact that has on the nursing students, the job seekers. helping the employer. So it makes it a little easier for ARH to bring people on board and get them then trained. And then, who ultimately wins is the whole community, because we have hospitals filled with really great, highly qualified staff, and who doesn't want that, right? So like everybody, literally everybody wins when we do this kind of work together. So you talked a little bit about like when ARH was mentioned to you when you were younger, and you thought, well, I don't want to draw blood, and I feel that I'm the same way. So what kind of career pathways are available with ARH? What kind of these programs can lead into what kind of careers do you think? Obviously, nursing is one. Anything else?
I think that's one of the greatest things, Jennifer, about being as large of a healthcare system as we are, right? 14 hospitals, over 90 clinics. When you add us all up, when you add all of our facilities up, we have a little over 130 different facilities throughout Eastern Kentucky and Southern West Virginia. And when you have an organization our size, it's almost like we have an entire like, little city within our organization. And what I mean by that is, we have, and when it comes to healthcare professionals, right, we need our clinical folks, right? We need our medical assistants and nursing assistants, RNs, respiratory radiology. But beyond that, we also need accountants, business professionals, IT. That's a very much so growing demand in our organization, cybersecurity in particular. We need lawyers, which is one I think folks probably often don't think about when it comes to healthcare system. But we have really every department we have within our organization: legal, accounting, finance. We need accountants, those type of roles. So really, Jennifer, it's going to be very rare that an individual in our region has a professional desire, or they're working towards a degree certification that cannot be used and applied somewhere within our organization. Another one that I didn't mention, but it's a growing need as well, is trades. Looking at, maintenance, electricians, plumbers, carpenters. We have over 130 different facilities that need upkeeps, and we're continuously making investments in improving those facilities. And so I think there's a lot of different career paths and opportunities outside of clinical that folks simply don't know about. But we are very grateful to be able to have those pathways, to have those opportunities within our organization, which of course means that those opportunities are within our region here in Eastern Kentucky and Southern West Virginia.
Yeah, and I think like listening to you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, like why wouldn't you need a maintenance person? But when you think of like working at ARH, you really do just think of the clinical side. You don't think of all of the people that you really need to, make ARH ARH. So that's really cool that you brought that up, because like I said, I wouldn't have thought of that at all. Can you give us a little success story of someone who has come through one of ARH's workforce programs and is now thriving?
Yes. So one story that sticks with me, we hear a lot of stories about, success stories, and we actually have this program called the Excellence Award. So we are continuously getting nominations about employees who have went back to further their education, whether that be to get a certificate or a degree. And so we're continuously getting nominations, and all those stories are impactful, but I think sometimes we hear stories that stick with us. And a couple months back, I think it was in November, December, our Excellence Award was from an employee that was over in the West Virginia market. And this was an employee who was an LPN with our organization. And we have varying programs such as scholarships, tuition reimbursement, things along those lines that can help employees with advancement. And, this employee enrolled in their RN program. And right before classes started, their child had been complaining of some pain in her shoulder. And so she took her daughter to the doctor. And then, unfortunately, after further review, her daughter, who was very young, was diagnosed with cancer. And when she received that diagnosis, in her story, she talked about how her world entirely felt like it was upside down. Right? There's no way I'm going to be able to further my education now. There's no way, and that's put on the back burner. My child has to come first. And throughout her story, she talks about how the community at ARH rallied around her, right? And we continue to provide the financial assistance that she may need to further her education. We work to provide flexible scheduling so that she could work around things related to her child, but also helping her balance things related to school. And so it's all really that all-around approach through our organization, through financial assistance, flexible working employment, things along those lines that allowed her to continue on her education at a moment where she thought she couldn't, right? And looking at her progression, she was able to go, and this was back in 2020, 2021, and she went from an LPN, she earned her associate in nursing. Last year, she continued on to receive her bachelor's of nursing and now works as one of our clinical nurse managers at our hospital in West Virginia. And I look back and I look at those stories, and she talks about how, had it not been for the resources that our organization was able to provide, if it wasn't for the support that our team across ARH provided to her, none of that would have been possible. And I think that was just one story that I think will stick with me for a very long time. And that was also one of those stories that told us in our workforce division, hey, we're doing the right thing. We're making the right investments. And this is the why behind what we're doing here at ARH. So that was just one story. I could go on and on and on about those. But like I mentioned, that's one that specifically stuck with me.
That's a great one. That's really that's incredible. And sounds like you guys are an amazing company to work for.
Absolutely. And the most important piece there is her daughter beat cancer. So that was a big win. So
thank you. I was wondering. I was afraid to
yes.
ask. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yeah, that's incredible.
So what if somebody is a job seeker listening to this episode, what advice would you give to them if they're thinking about maybe starting a career with ARH?
Yes. So, well, reach out to our recruitment team. Our contact information can be found on our careers page, which is arhcareers.org. You can do two different things. You can get on there on our careers page and kind of self-navigate the portal and look at all the different job opportunities that we have available that are currently posted. But there's also a tab on our careers page that says contact us. So maybe you're an individual who maybe you're not exactly sure what you want to do, but maybe you want to explore opportunities with our healthcare system. Simply click on that contact us button, fill out a quick form that'll come to our team, and then someone can be in contact with you to talk to you about specific opportunities, but also to maybe help you explore opportunities that exist within the system as well.
And if they need support with, like, say they still need training, they don't have their degree yet, you can help them connect with the Kentucky Career Center, or the Kentucky Career Center can connect them with you, and vice versa. Would it work
Absolutely.
that way?
Yes. So at ARH, we have two unique departments within our organization that fall under our workforce division. We have a workforce advancement team and a workforce development team. Both of these teams have dedicated team members who are focused on helping our employees navigate resources that exist both internally and externally. So actually, I'd seen some stats yesterday, and we've referred 37 people within the last couple of months to EKCEP related services. So we have team members internally who are aware of the resources that exist. So we are continuously sending referrals externally because there's so many resources that EKCEP and your community action agencies offer that can help our employees with career advancement, supporting them with receiving additional training. So absolutely, yes, our team can help them navigate those resources and help them connect with the right folks on your all side.
And that's great. If an employer in the region, sometimes they're a little bit more hesitant or unsure about partnering with workforce development programs like ours or anything like that, hiring individuals from diverse background experiences, what would your advice be for them?
Reach out and have conversations. Further that exist. The workforce development agencies, such as EKCEP, they're designed to help employers and to help job seekers in the region. And really, EKCEP is one of our organization's strongest partners. And I think when we talk about workforce development, we talk about needing to, be innovative and creative when it comes to workforce solutions. All employers, maybe I'm incorrect here, but I feel confident in saying all or many employers in the region right now are facing issues when it comes to recruiting and retaining individuals. And one of the key ways that that employers are going to be able to combat that, as our organization has been able to do, is through partnerships and developing partnerships and leveraging and taking advantage of the resources that exist in the region. So my advice is that if you're not currently partnering with agencies such as EKCEP, reach out to your business service rep, reach out to your contacts with these community action agencies, have conversations, explore the resources that exist. And I feel confident that if employers ask about those resources, and they hear about those, then all day long, they're going to realize, yes, I need to be partnering. We need to be taking advantage of these, and we need to be expanding these services and offering these services to our folks, the people we work with.
So well said. Thank you. I love that. So looking ahead, what are the goals that ARH has for your workforce initiative? So, what is the best case scenario picture look like over the next few years?
Yeah, our organization, we have goals to continue expanding. Our organization's goals are to ensure that the people of this region have access to high quality healthcare services. And through that, we're continuously looking at the ways that we can expand our services, ways that we can expand our footprint throughout our region. And so I envision continued expansion of services and the presence of our organization throughout the region. But none of that's going to be possible without having a strong, stable workforce that can support that expansion. So at ARH, we have a lot of workforce initiatives going on right now, whether it be workforce development, advancement, things along those lines. And one thing that I can say confidently is that partnerships with agencies such as EKCEP is going to continue to grow stronger. We're going to continue to work collaboratively to help address the workforce needs of the region. But at the end of the day, our goal as an organization and our goal as a department is to make sure that we have that strong, stable workforce to make sure that we can continue providing care to the patients of this region. So I think it's going to be an exciting time looking over the course of the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years down the road, and there's going to be a lot of investments happening from the employer side, and then I also know from the workforce development side into the region. So I'm very, very excited for the future as I sit here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that is,
we'll be cheering you on.
For sure. All right, Dylon. So where can listeners learn more about the career opportunities and workforce programs available at ARH?
Yes, so folks can visit our careers page at arhcareers.org, and all of our career opportunities are listed on there. We have information about benefits, but most importantly, there is, as I mentioned earlier, there is that button that says Contact Us. So if you get on there, you feel overwhelmed, you're not sure exactly what you may be looking for career-wise, reach out to our team. We have a team of 5 recruiters who are always available to help you navigate resources, navigate career opportunities, and we're here to support you throughout that process. So arhcareers.org, check it out and let us know if they have any questions.
Great. Well, Dylon, thank you so much for being on here today, letting us hear your story, picking your brain about workforce. But that is all we have for you guys today. And if you're looking for a job and want to advance your career, or if you're a business leader looking for skilled workers, EKCEP is here for you. You can find more information about EKCEP and all of our services at ekcep.org, or visit your local Kentucky Career Center, and you'll find the links to everything we mentioned today in the show notes. Have a great day, Eastern Kentucky. Let's get to work.